Hello, this is Roland. Welcome. Today I want to talk about not reacting. Very good topic. Most people are too reactive. They react to everything, every little thing. Traffic, something happens that they don't expect, a little bit of a delay in the store, standing in line, they react. Then they hear somebody said something about them, they react. Or they think somebody said something about them, they react. Somebody, their child doesn't answer quite quickly enough to some question and they react. Or their husband or their partner doesn't say hi immediately when he comes home, or his wife doesn't immediately say hi when she comes home, and react. React. You can see the evidence of this reactivity at the biological level. You see people reacting more, their bodies reacting more and more. Of course, there are more and more things to react to out there, chemicals and toxins and additives in the food and everything else. But nevertheless, people are more reactive. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that it begins mentally, actually spiritually, at the soul level. But you have to begin by understanding that we were not meant to react. We were not meant to react. Because whenever you react, you're automatically in second place. See, you've already lost the moment you react. The moment you become angry, resentful, irritated, impatient, you've already lost. And when you become judgmental, you've lost too. You have to learn, you have to see that you must go into situations with fresh eyes. And you don't know what's going to happen, and you're prepared for anything, but you haven't pre-planned anything. You're prepared for everything, but you haven't pre-planned anything. Now, obviously, if you're going on a long trip, you have to take your clothes and some spare food and water and, your raincoat if it might rain. You see what I mean? Of course. But I'm talking about situations, delicate situations involving other people. If you have pre-planned what to say, then it never happens exactly as you thought it would. So your plans are not going to be perfect. There's going to be a improper timing, maybe the totally wrong thing, or the wrong thing, or the almost wrong thing, but it's not going to be the right thing. And that really applies when it comes to talking to your kids or communicating with your partner or with other loved ones. You have a neutral attitude. Okay? So let's say your child hasn't, I'm just going to make something up. Your child hasn't brushed. Every night you have to remind your child to brush his teeth. And you've been doing so diligently, and you haven't become resentful. You're not angry. You just remind the child. It's a little child. Children have to be reminded. That's what a parent's job is, to remind the little children. And children forget. And they're having fun playing, so they have to be reminded. Okay, so you've been doing a good job of just reminding your child, okay? And then all of a sudden one night, she brushes her teeth by herself. And you notice that, but you don't make a big deal over it. You don't say, oh, how wonderful, or, oh, you brushed your teeth by yourself, just like I told you to. Something like just ruins it. Or you brushed your teeth, so I'm going to give you a reward. No, you just quietly notice that she brushed her teeth and continue reading your book or whatever you're doing, you see? It's something that she discovered for herself, okay? All because all you did was patiently remind her. But now let's look at the opposite, the wrong way of handling it. Or a few nights in a row, your child doesn't brush her teeth. And so now you say, did you brush your teeth? No. I knew it. I knew you weren't going to. You never brush your teeth. I always have to remind you. I just knew it. When I heard you playing up there, I knew you were playing and you weren't doing what I told you to do. See, totally wrong. Or worse yet, they have some pre-planned thing. You didn't brush your teeth? What's going to happen is all your teeth are going to fall out. You know, something like that. I'm just making something up. But you get the idea. Well, that's a simple example of blowing it. Okay? But that's what we do. We plan ahead what we're going to say, what we're going to do. And we have a judgment, prejudgment formed, and then, see? But every time, fresh eyes. Did you brush your teeth? No. Brush your teeth. Did you brush your teeth? You did? Oh, good. See? It's that simple. Either she did or she didn't. Either way, okay, brush your teeth or, oh, that's good. See, it's not a big deal. That's why you have to approach life with a light touch. And when you enter delicate situations, see what they want. See, there's, you know, the classic scene in the Old West movie or in the Old West novel. Guy walks into a bar and somebody's in there. They look him over and then they start making comments. You look kind of stupid, stranger. I don't like you. I don't like your boots. What's your problem? How come your head is so small? You know, just making all kinds of rude remarks. So the hero in this novel or this Western movie doesn't react. He just goes about his business, orders a glass of 7-Up. He's drinking his 7-Up. The other one says, oh, look at him, he's drinking 7-Up. Doesn't react, doesn't react. Okay? But you know what happens? The one that's trying to make trouble gets more and more irritated because he's not reacting. See? Now, in our Western story, eventually the hero may have to do something. But when he does, if he says something or he does something, it'll be in his own time and space. It'll just suddenly come to him out of nowhere. Intuitively, he'll just do something or he'll say something and it'll be the right move. Okay? But it won't be in reacting. It won't be in reacting to what the other person said. You see what I mean? There's a big difference. Big difference. See? Guy breaks into somebody's house and he's going to steal, I don't know, stereo or something. Or he's going to steal television. Something like that. And so there you are. You say, hello, may I help you? The guy looks at you. And you say, would you like have a cup of tea? The guy who was going to steal the stereo, he's so shocked by what you said, which is totally out of left field, he probably gets scared and run away because it's such a surprise. It came out of nowhere. Now, you can't pre-plan that. You can't pre-plan it. But I know in my life there have been situations that possibly could have been dangerous. And I somehow didn't say anything. I just watched. Or I said something or did something, some little thing, and it just turned out to be the right thing. And it's hard to explain, but it's very beautiful. Do you remember there was a movie? It was not a movie, excuse me, a television program. It was called Kung Fu. I don't know if you remember or not. It was a long time ago. Okay, see, I'm getting old now. It was a long time ago. It starred, I think it was David Carradine. I can't remember. But it was brilliantly written, brilliantly acted. Okay? He played a Shaolin monk who arrived in America and was traveling through the Old West. Okay? And he had many adventures. But he was always calm and never got upset. And he moved in his own time and space. Like out of nowhere. See? Not as a reaction. And sometimes he was forceful. Never violent. Sometimes he was forceful with the bad people that were going to do something bad to somebody else, usually is what it was. So he protected and saved someone else. So he was sometimes forceful. Okay? But once again, it wasn't as a reaction. It came out of nowhere. He just moved intuitively. Okay? So that's really a good example of what I'm talking about. So don't pre-plan what you're going to say or what you're going to do. Christ told us that, remember? At one point he said to his disciples, he said, when you're called before the authorities, the Sanhedrin or whoever, some hearing or something, he said, don't pre-plan what to say. He said the Holy Spirit will, at that time, guide you. Okay? Because he knew that whatever you pre-planned. See, the other thing is that people can sometimes pick up your thoughts. See, they somehow through some sort of osmosis or psychic, who knows, they pick up what you're thinking or what you're going to do. Or maybe you give it away through your body language or something. Okay, like I just look over there, like, so then they know there's something over there that I'm thinking. You see what I mean? But who knows? I think it's probably more like some kind of a psychic, and they can read your thoughts. And that's why if you go in without a thought, you're not angry, you're not upset, you have an open mind. See, that's the way a good boss is. A good boss, sitting in his office or her office, and the assistant comes in and says there's some kind of an issue between two of the people out there in the office. And the boss says, oh, real well, have them come in. So they both come in, the two people that there's an issue. And the boss he doesn't know what it is. He's not taking sides. He has an attitude of friendly neutrality. Friendly neutrality. Sit down, he says to them, or she says to them. And then he begins to gather information. He gathers information, and then he sees a solution, okay? But if he had pre-planned in his mind, he said, I bet that it's that Joe is always trying to load work on somebody else, so I bet that's what it is. So I'm going to confront him the minute he comes through the door. See? Something like that. I'm just making something up. But you get the idea. An attitude of friendly neutrality. So that's very, very important. You need to be able to go through life. In fact, you need to be able to go through all of life with an attitude of being an observer. See, now you have been miseducated. See, plus our egos tend to have the wrong idea about things. Being egos, you think you have to make something happen. See, so you go out in the world and you want to impose your will on things and make something happen, and it totally backfires with your kids. You turn them into either conformist wimps or angry rebels. See, it backfires on your husband. You're trying to change him. You think you can change make a man out of him? You can't. Even if you succeeded in making him do what you wanted, then he would be just in your image anyway. See? So you got the idea. We're always trying to make something happen. So you have to go through life like an observer, just watching, without prejudging. See? And observe what the situation is. It's okay to discern what's happening, or to even discern error, but without judgment, without resentment. More of an observer. Go through life like you're on vacation. You know when you're on vacation how you look at everything? You don't mind. You see people, they have different clothes and costumes and manners and everything's different. You don't mind. You don't mind what clothes they have on or what manners or... See, it's interesting to see everything. Well, you have to have that kind of an attitude in life. Light-hearted attitude, okay? And have a light touch. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little lecture. And hope to see you, Lord willing, in my next lecture.